Hello, Devlin here with you, and welcome to another edition of Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. I should also take this time to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, because this episode is going to air during Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm not in the studio today. I don't know how well you can hear it. We just got hit with a whole bunch of wind. I don't know if that'll translate on here. But I've got probably one of the most gorgeous places I have ever done a transmission. And I am here at Mike's father's cottage. He lives in a little home that we're going to put some pictures up for you. I think we've showed pictures in the past. But yeah, this is one of the most beautiful studios I've ever been in, because I'm literally sitting on a chair on a dock right in a beautiful little place called Poacher's Point in Parry Sound, just off of Parry Sound. And I am here on one of the thousand island lakes, the heart of that area, and it is just so gorgeous up here. We decided to come up in the fall because we're trying to get up, a little bit more. You never know how long Mike's dad's got, and so we're going to try to enjoy as much time with him as possible. It's a gorgeous location up here. I'm not a nature person. Anybody who listens to me knows that I love nature up to a point, but I do love sitting out here, and I've even been in the boat a few times, and yeah. So for those of you who think I totally hate nature, you are wrong. It's gorgeous here. Like, I got the wind through my hair. I feel kind of weird because I'm sitting here on a dock, but there's no real traffic. We're on a weekday, and there's no boats going by. I'm sure on the weekend there's a little bit more. But yeah, it's nice. I've got the sun glimmering off the lake. Yeah, I should do more outdoor shows because it's absolutely inspiring. And as I said, it's Thanksgiving's weekend, and this is a weekend that I'm going to just enjoy all the things in my life. I've always said that I don't really... Well, don't get me wrong, I celebrate Thanksgiving, but I don't go overboard with it because I'm thankful for everything I've got. The wind's picking up. Must know I'm recording here. I'm thankful for everything I got year round, and I never take anything for granted in my life. Because I've known from losing people in my life, how easily that one day it can all be gone. So when I'm on a beautiful day like this, out here with Mike and his dad, and just here in all of nature's beauty, I take, I embrace that. But this weekend is a good one because it's the week before. I'm actually filming this, as always, the week before. So we're going to spend a couple of days up here, and then we're going to spend a night in a hotel room and just kind of have some fun and, be ourselves there. And then we're going home, and then I'm going to be spending time with some of the most important people in my life, my closest friends. And we're going to go to Hamilton Comic-Con this weekend. And I don't think I'm going to do any recording at Hamilton Comic-Con, but I might get some kind of recording where my friends and I talk about what we've seen and that. The only reason why is, I don't know, I just feel that if I'm on Hamilton Comic-Con and I enjoy myself too much, and, if I have to whip it out every once in a while on my tape recorder, of course, it'll feel like work, and I tend to get wrapped up in it too much. I am looking forward to meeting Daisy Duke, Catherine Bach. Last year I remember meeting John Schneider, who was just a fantastic experience, and this year I get to meet Daisy Duke, Catherine Bach from the Dukes of Hazzard. And hey, now I'm going to have to hunt down Tom Wopat to get the trifecta of Dukes of Hazzard. Anyhow, so this weekend is going to be all about, being and doing things I love, and that's great. That's a great way to go into Thanksgiving weekend. And for those of you who I am close to, just because we're not together doesn't mean that I'm not thankful for you. As I said, I look forward to the next time we're together. And for those of you who don't know me from Adam or just know me from this show, I hope one day we do get to meet. I'd love to meet and get to know you, because I basically just talk about myself on this show. But I'd also love to hear, what interests you in the show. Why do you find me so appealing? Because I can be abrasive sometimes. Sometimes I don't even want to be with myself. I don't know exactly what I want to talk about. I was just so inspired, and I had my tape recorder near. I decided I got to do this. As I said, I don't know if you're hearing the beautiful wind or some of the ducks or loons in the background. There's some crickets I hear. But they are all there. They are not being added by Corda. I'm seeing Mike. He's walking around taking some pictures. I love seeing him here because I can tell he's got lots of great memories. He had a mixed childhood, but I think this brings out all the good memories of his childhood, and that makes me happy to see him. And I know we've only got a couple hours left with his dad before we head off into the city and spend some time at the hotel room, but he's getting to that quiet point where he knows that in a few hours we're going to have to say goodbye. I get it. I get why goodbyes are so hard. Even temporary ones gut me. Because I have lost people in my life. There was a time where I didn't really tell people how I felt about them, or, what they meant to me. And I saw that so many other people did that too. And I decided to change that. And as I get older, I cherish things more. So I tend to go overboard, but I constantly want people to know, because you just never know when the last time you're going to be hugging someone, or the last time you're going to be talking with them, or the last person you're going to shake their hands or just be with them. So I think it's important to make those gestures and just cherish each moment like they're their last. Because I'm not even just talking like the morbid people dying out of your life. I'm talking about you just one day don't know if you're going to wake up and that person's just not going to be important in your life anymore. I know that just sounds weird, but, I've talked about it many times, the whole left behind. I've had friendships that just have finished. I know people say that, oh, that's life. Life happens. Life happens. Well, you know what? I think we should fight to have people in our lives a little more. I think we take it too lightly, life. And I think some people would say we're getting better at it because now we can text and we can, but I think we're actually getting further apart from it. I think we're actually not communicating as much as we did. Not everybody, but I think I can see it. And I always like when people post on Facebook. I'm horrible at keeping track of people or contacting them, but I want you to know I still love you. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. There's many times in your life that you can just reach out, that you're not doing anything. You might be doing something, but honestly, are you seriously telling me that calling a friend or calling them to spend time with you or going out for a coffee, do you really think when your end of life comes, you're going to be thinking, oh my God, I'm so sad I missed that episode of The Bachelor, or, Real Housewives of New Orleans, or whatever? You can always tape those or record those or, But I think people use it as a crutch, and they use excuses all the time. I'm too busy. And don't get me wrong, I know people get busy, and I get busy too. But I really try to juggle my time. Because honestly, I see it happening. I see people that spend time with me, and they're constantly looking at their watch because they have to go and play video games. they have to go and, and I'm not saying that's not important too, but honestly, contact with people is so important. And yes, it's great that we can contact them through texts or emails or phones, but spending time with them, that's what it's all about. And that's why you got to cherish those moments. I only see my nephew Jonathan a couple times a year, and it kills me because he lives, you know, he doesn't live around the corner where I can spend time with him. And I think of him often. I'm here up at the cottage, and I'm having a wonderful time and enjoying the company I've got here. And when I have quiet moments, I think about him or friends, even friends I'm going to see in a couple of days. I look forward to seeing them. And on Thanksgiving, we should take that into consideration. That, these are people we should be making time for, and not sticking up a silly, meme up on your Facebook about how I don't keep track of people enough. I'm horrible at that, but please understand, no, it means that you're doing it. See, that's worse. It means that you're doing it, but apparently you have time to put these memes out, and you probably didn't even look at them. You actually just saw somebody else post that, and you reposted it. So that's even lazier, because in that time that you could have done that, you could have probably wrote a little note to someone saying, "Hey, I missed you." If you think about all the people that mean something in your life, and you actually every day you just wrote one text or email, or made one phone call every couple of days, you would be in contact with them regularly. And you know what? I love getting little notes saying, I love you, I miss you. I do it for a lot of people. I do it mostly for the people that are the closest to me. But if I see somebody needs some pep or they're having a bad day on Facebook, I'll write. And I'm not trying to sit here telling you I'm the greatest person ever. I'm just saying that I've learned from my mistakes in my past. Times where I was watching TV shows and had to watch everything. And I'd actually cancel things because I'd rather stay home and watch TV. And there are lots of times like that. But as I get older, I realize that there's lots of times to watch TV. And even if I miss TV shows, who cares? I spent time with somebody I wanted to. But because we've become so entitled, we basically just, oh, that's okay. My friends understand. My friends understand. My family understands. Yeah, there are lots of times I can see when you're way too busy, and I get that. But you know damn well you're not always that busy. You can always take time to write a little note to put a smile on someone's face saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. And let's really work on it. Send out dates, send out times. I know I talk about this a lot, but you know what? This is my show, and the reason I talk about it so much is because I'm hoping it'll sink into people's heads, and the people that do take time. I know there's some of you probably jokingly saying, I could turn off your show right now and go and contact somebody. You know what? Do it. Honestly, do it. Because you can put this on hold, you can watch this another time, or you don't have to watch it ever again, that's fine. But you know what? If I got you to contact somebody or go for a coffee with a person you haven't seen in a while, I think, one, that would make me really happy. And number two, I think eventually you would come back because you would realize that I made you do that, and you realize, hey, this guy maybe knows a thing or two. I keep feeling like I should be singing Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. I don't know, I feel like I should talk about some, grandiose thing because I'm right here in nature. I'm on a swiveling chair that's attached to the dock. Mike's mom used to fish off here. Now his Aunt Nancy does still, and a couple other family members. I'm not a big fisherman. My dad used to love to fish, but it's not my thing. I like to just sit, maybe listen to music, talk if somebody's here. Apparently sit and talk to myself when nobody's here. But I like it. I hope you feel like you're sitting next to me in a lawn chair. But I always feel like I should be talking about something grandiose. But to be honest, when I'm in nature like this, I'm humbled. And it's moments like this that I realize I don't travel a lot. And I respect all the people who travel. But don't disrespect people that don't travel. I'm not a big traveler. And yet here I am. And you can't tell me that I don't see a beautiful side of the world here. This is a small piece of the world. And, you know, you can find this in your own city. Maybe not this, but beauty I'm talking about. You can look around and find stuff. And I'm humbled when I'm in this because it just reminds me how small I am. I don't say how insignificant I am because I do believe that every person put on this earth is here for a reason. And I think I have changed people's lives. In fact, I know I have. They've told me, I've seen it, I've felt it. And I refuse to say I'm a significant little piece of the universe because of the fact that I know I have touched lives. I don't want to die anytime soon, but when I do die, although I think there's a turkey vulture circling over my head, I better move a bit. I think he's coming after me. But I don't want to die right away. But the day I do, I know I have played a part. I know I have touched lives and I haven't stopped. Yeah, there's times I feel like I'm giving up and I've done enough. But the truth is, it's never enough. Some people find the one person they claim is their soulmate. And that's it. That's all the lives they want to touch. Maybe if we have a couple of kids, we'll affect their lives. But why stop there? There's people out there who desperately need somebody in their lives. Could be a friend, could be a relative, it could be anyone. I know I can't save the world, but I can save some of it. I like that saying. Geez, did I just come up with a quote? I'd have to rewind it, I can't remember it already. I can't save the world, but I can save a part of it. And when I say that, I'm talking about people. I know I've saved people's lives. They've told me. If it wasn't for you in a dark time, I wouldn't be here right now. Yeah, I like that saying. In fact, I'm glad I came up with that quote in the middle of nature. Because it just made me feel part of this grand scheme. That's why, as I said, I talked earlier, a couple episodes ago, about cremation, and I see why Mike's mom wanted to be spread her ashes around here, because it's just wonderful. And right now, for a few moments, I get to be part of it. And she gets to be part of it now, forever. Goo, me reflecting heavy. See, you do get deep in nature. This segment's coming to an end. As I said, I'm going to probably gather some of my friends together and talk about stuff after we've gone to the Comic-Con. We might get a couple picks for you. But thank you for joining me on this Thanksgiving weekend. And I'm glad you didn't turn me off when I told you I did, because even though I would have been happy that you did if you were going to spend time, most of you would have turned it off and just gone to watch TV or play computer games. But I'm so glad you didn't, and you're making me still a part of your weekend. Anyhow, I'm leaving the dock right now. It's actually getting quite hot, and I'm going to walk around with Mike and spend some time with him, because I've already did my part for this segment, but now it's time to make contact, because that's what this was all about. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you after this break. Welcome back to Devlin's Pirate Radio Show, Thanksgiving weekend edition, and we are jumping a couple of days ahead now. We've got it come back from the cottage, and we have gone to Comic-Con already. As I told you, it was a big week. Now, I originally was hoping that we would all get together at dinner and talk about Comic-Con with my friends, but we stood in line, so long, and we looked around so long. By the time we got to dinner, we were just exhausted, and we just took it easy. So I didn't bother recording something, but I still wanted to talk a little bit about Comic-Con because it was a lot of fun. This year I got to share it with probably the 5 most important people in my life. I tell you, if my nephew Jonathan was there, that would probably be right there. The 5 people I would that are so important to me. They're the people I regularly talk to, that regularly talk with me, and so it was amazing. I had Dave Marshall there, who has done the show before. Uh, Corda was there, of course, who helps me produce the show. If you're a regular listener, you know who Corda is. Of course, my love of my life, Mike Cuthbertson, was there. A good friend of mine, David Jameson, who is somebody who's been a part of my life since high school. I'd like to get him on the show at some point, but he hasn't yet. And he's now, he kind of disappeared from my life for a little while, but I'm glad he's back. And Damien Troutman was there with us also. Both David Jameson and Damien were first timers going to the Hamilton Comic Con. Well, I think Damien had gone a little bit a couple of years ago, but this was his first year with us. And yeah, it was just a great time. We had a lot of fun, and we got to meet some celebrities. And yeah, it was amazing. I love, we split up, so I don't spend a lot of time with them. Most of the time is in the car or in the lineup, but it was still a great trip. I can't remember if I've ever talked to you about Hamilton Comic Con in the past, but a little history of it. They started doing it just about 4 years ago, I think, and I think I've been to every one. And I don't get out to go to the big Comic Cons. I've never been to Toronto or Niagara Falls, or certainly not San Diego's or any of the New York or California. So when Hamilton Comic Con came, it was quite refreshing to me that I could go close by and go to one. And it might not be as big as the other ones, but I still accomplish everything I hope to. When I go to a Comic-Con, I want to meet some celebrities, and even though they may not be A-list celebrities at the time, they're still celebrities that mean a lot to me. And then I want to look and shop for toys or memorabilia, all the little stuff that, if you're a regular watcher of my video segments on Mondo Nostalgia, you'll see them all in the back. I change them around a bit. I love collecting toys or posters or little things, and as always, I got some good stuff. Now, in the past, I've met some incredible celebrities. I've met David Yost, who was the Blue Ranger and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I met my favorite Ranger the second year I went, which was Austin St. John, who played Red Ranger, Jason. And I also met Pat Mastrantonio. Now, I never did go see Pat Mastrantonio. And for those of you who don't know who he is, he played Joey Jeremiah in Canada's own Degrassi Junior High. The ones from the 80s, not the new ones they do now, but the classic ones. And I just had a chance. He was just sitting there. Nobody was in his line, and he was being very friendly and nice. And I decided, Mike and I had just watched the shows again, and we decided to go up to him. And I decided, what the hell, I'm going to get a pic and, get an autograph. And he turned out to be so nice. And we actually saw them there the next year as a fan. He came in because he actually is a big comic book fan, and he says he likes coming into Hamilton for our comic book shops and stuff. So it was quite nice to hear. And he was such a pleasant guy. I haven't had a bad celebrity experience. Last year, of course, I got to meet one of my heroes, and I probably talked about it, and if I didn't, I'd be shocked. But I got a chance to meet John Schneider. Of course, Bo Duke from Dukes of Hazzard. He also played Jonathan Kent in Smallville. So many roles. He's done so many things. And he was one of my first crushes. Probably, I always say he's the first celebrity that made me realize that I was gay. And to meet him was incredible. And I got to meet him last year. This year, it was looking like there were some people I wasn't particularly interested in meeting. I always wait for that one. Last year, as I said, there wasn't anybody, and then they announced John Schneider, and I think I screamed all through the apartment. And Mike said, "Oh, did a celebrity finally come that you want to see?" And I go, "Yeah." This year, there wasn't really any big ones, but then they announced one that I thought, yeah, that's the one I want to meet out of all these people. Because they had some celebrities. David Prowse who plays Darth Vader. Now, the problem I have with meeting people like David Prowse is, no offense, and I respect everything he's done since I'm a big Star Wars fan, but really, he's only Darth Vader when he's in the suit. It's not like I can look and say, hey, that's David Prowse. I could because I'm a Star Wars fan. But to me, it would be like meeting James Earl Jones, and he's just the voice. But at least James Earl Jones has done other stuff that I know and respect from. Corey Feldman was there. That was kind of intriguing. But I like Corey Feldman and all, but I'm not an uber fan. I loved him in Lost Boys and Goonies and Stand By Me, but, I'm not an uber fan of his. And then they had a couple of other people. Actually, one of the big ones there that I was surprised a lot of people wanted to see was Amanda Bierce. I think it's Burse, actually. And the only reason I know that was because she was the person next to the person I was in line to see. And she came in and she was wonderful. Now, Amanda Burse, for anybody who doesn't know her, she played Marcy Darcy on Married with Children. And awesome lady. And she also did some movies like Fright Night. She directs a lot of sitcoms now, and she teaches directing and stuff now. So I got to see her interact because my celebrity was a little bit late. And so I got to see her interact, and she's just absolutely lovely. She's just absolutely lovely, and even did like an interview. I should have thought of bringing my thing, but I don't think of myself as an official radio station. But yeah, she was absolutely lovely. The other person there was Jason, I always get his wrong name. I want to say Jason David Frank, who was the Green Ranger. Now, since I had already met two of the original Power Rangers, people asked me, why didn't you go meet him? And I said, well, in all honesty, my favorite was Jason. And anybody who knows Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when Tommy showed up, Jason kind of got kicked to the back burner. Now, nothing to do with Jason David Frank. It was always the producer. But as much as I liked Tommy, I just didn't really feel it for meeting him and stuff. Not to mention, he was one of the latest ones. And yeah, he really came late. Now, this is the first celebrity one I went that was late. And I don't know how late she was, but I was a little miffed. But I understand. I still had a pleasant experience when she finally showed up. But the person I was excited seeing was Catherine Bach, who plays Daisy Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard. Now, I'm sure you all know my love for the Dukes of Hazzard. And when I heard Daisy was coming, I thought, yeah, this is the one I'm going to stand in line for, because this is a part of my childhood. I met John Schneider last year, so now I'm going to have to find Tom Wopat and get the trifecta of the top, the three main Dukes of Hazzard fans. But when she finally got there, she was absolutely very sweet and just as beautiful as everything. I know a lot of people make jokes because she's gotten a little bigger, but to be honest with you, she is still absolutely lovely. And to be honest with you, I think she was in pretty good shape. She seemed to have some curves, but she didn't look, too big. I came up to her. I was the first person in the line, and I came up to her, and she just was very sweet. And, I can't even remember. I get a little bit starstruck, so I can't remember all the conversations, but I remember I said something. Since I was her first, she said, oh, you're my first. And I said, well, welcome to Hamilton. And she looked at me and just said, Devlin, you're lovely. And that was nice, just to hear that, even in a little bit of a Daisy twang. I don't even know if she has an accent, but when she talked, I heard it. So then I got a photo op with her, which we'll put on the YouTube links if you're interested in seeing it. So it was all very nice. And then I was anxious because I had stood up in line. Now I stood waiting for her. Luckily, I didn't have my watch with me, so I couldn't look at what time it was. But because that would have pissed me off because I was waiting so long. But anyhow, I got her autograph, and it will be on display here in the studios. And then I got to look around. Now, one of my favorite parts of this one is, as much as I love buying toys and stuff, I love seeing people fulfill dreams. And one of my favorite moments is Damien, who came with us, and also somebody, I don't know if I mentioned, also hosted one of my earlier shows, so you can check him out back back way in the early parts of when I was doing this. And he was actually really looking forward to meet Mick Foley, a wrestler from the WWE. And, he was the Mankind. And Corda had went with him because he needed someone to take a picture, and Mike stayed with me. And when he showed me the picture, just coming over, like, because I was still waiting for Catherine Bach, because apparently wrestlers are more set to be on time than prima donnas, okay? But I could tell Damien had met him because he had this big, huge smile on his face. And I don't know, nothing makes me more happy than when I see my friends doing something that I know meant the world to me. Now, I was excited to meet Catherine Bach, but it wasn't like a life ambition. It was just that was the person I wanted to see that particular year. It wasn't like the year before when I got to meet John Schneider when I was over the moon, or the first year when I bumped into R2-D2 and was like, oh my God, and it was so starstruck. But to see Damien's face light up because of this was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm gonna steal his picture away with Mick Foley because it's just such a sweet picture, and I don't think he'll mind because I don't know, it was just a lot of fun to see him fulfill his goal. Then we all split up, spent a lot of money. I found a lot of things. I always go in with one thing that I wanted, and I was happy to say I came out with what I was looking for, although it looked touch and go there for a bit. The pop figurines. I can't remember who makes them. I don't know if it's Funko or they're those little characters with the brown eye, like the big eyes and stuff. And I was actually on the hunt for Muttley from Wacky Races. He was also in Dirk Dastardly and Muttley. And I actually found him. Now, when we first found him, Corda said, oh, he's here, but he's $40. Now, these things usually range from about, $14.99. But apparently this one was $44. And I go, oh, that's a little much for a toy. Depending on the toy. Last year I spent a ludicrous amount of money. Do not regret it whatsoever because I found what I was looking for last year and have never seen it again. So I'm so glad I found it. So anyhow, I came face to face with my Muttley and decided, do I get him? And I decided, yes, I do get him. And how I decided was because I kept looking around in that area and happened to find one that was priced at $12.99. Somebody told me that the 44 one was a special edition where it was furry, and I didn't want a furry one. I had Dirk Dastardly, I can't even say his name. I had him already, so I needed Muttley beside him. I'll post some pictures for him. I also picked up a Ming the Merciless from the Flash Gordon movie. I just purchased Flash somewhere, and I needed his enemy beside him, so I found that, and that's something I bought. I also treated myself to a Stephen Amell Arrow action figure, which I think I'm going to have to hide from my niece, because I know she's a big Stephen Amell fan, and this is a gorgeous looking toy. We'll try to get a picture up of that for you too. I actually wanted to buy that last year, but it was ridiculously priced last year, and I won't say how much it was. But this year it came down about $20, and some might say it was still ridiculously priced. But I still bought it because I didn't want to risk it. Maybe next year I'll pick up the Flash because they had a Grant Gustin version of the Flash. I just like this Arrow because he's got a cool arrow and bow set. Hopefully I don't lose those. I'm not the kind to keep things in their boxes too often. I just can't. And then that was all it looked like I was going to buy. And then just as I went, they had these great posters. Like little half posters that were in plastic. And I decided to take a look because last year I got a great Phantom of the Paradise poster that I've never seen before. And so it was really great. And so I took a last quick look there and I wound up finding two incredible posters that I can't believe I found. First one was Flash Gordon, the 1980 movie, and yeah, apparently that was the movie of the year because I bought the poster and the Ming the Merciless. I'm a big fan of that movie. I think it's just so wonderfully cheesy and bright and colorful. And I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but look on Mondo Nostalgia because I will talk about it at some point, guaranteed. And besides that, I also picked up, I could not believe I found this. I actually found a laminated poster of Xanadu. And oh my God, to find any Xanadu memorabilia is crazy. And it wasn't all that expensive, what makes it even better. So I was just in heaven, and that was enough for me. I packed it in. We went, had a nice dinner at Harvey's. And as I said, we were just so exhausted, but we all had a lot of fun. And I'm already looking forward to next year. Kind of praying Tom Wopat's going to be there, but I have a feeling if Tom Wopat is there, they'll put somebody else that I desperately want to see. So I'll have to like stand in line a lot. And I'm feeling it. I'm up at the cottage. I don't know how the hell it happened, but I picked up a bit of a, you probably notice I'm a little stuffy from this segment to the last. I think I got a little sunstroke. And then I also picked up like a head cold somewhere. And so I was fighting that, and and I was so stoned up on drugs when I went to the Comic-Con that while I was waiting in line for Catherine Bach, I remember saying to Mike, I hope she's here because my cold medicine's wearing off. And I'm not getting into a good place right now, but I managed to survive and not cause any troubles. But yeah, I'm still dealing with the head cold. It's slowly going away. I had to get this segment done, so I said, I guess I'm doing it stuffy, but overall, I think I'm at the end of it. I also, because of all the standing, and I also wore some new shoes, which is never a good idea, but I thought they were properly broken in. I really got like some bad sores, my aches and pains. Oh my God, have I hit that age where I just talk about aches and pains? I didn't think I'd be hitting those until like, episode 400 or 500, but apparently not. Here we are at like 83 or whatever we're at, and oh, the pains. But anyhow, it was a wonderful time. I loved it. I love being with so many people that I love. And that's what Thanksgiving is all about. And that's why I'm glad I'm sharing this story on Thanksgiving. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do for my final segment, but since this is the Thanksgiving unofficial episode, I'm probably going to talk about things I give thanks for, but I'm going to thank things that I don't normally do. I'm constantly thanking you guys, you listening to me, my friends. I'm always letting them know what they mean to me, my family. So I think I'm going to be thankful for stuff that I don't normally be thankful for. So this is going to probably go horribly bad, but we'll give it a try and see how it goes. Anyhow, let's take a short break and I'll be back on the other side. We're back for the final segment, and I've actually filmed these a couple of days. I've never done that before where I've done each segment on a different day, but here we are. And this is the episode that's going to land on Thanksgiving weekend, so I like to pay tribute to Thanksgiving, even though, as I've said in the past and probably said on earlier segments, I'm thankful all year round, so I don't make a big deal of Thanksgiving because I genuinely like to let people know what they mean to me. So I decided for this segment, instead of just going through the regular, I'm, thankful for all the friends and family in my life and all that, I'm going to do a quick segment on things I'm thankful for that I don't normally talk about a lot. And some of these are going to be stupid and goofy, but you know what? That's what I do. And don't get me wrong, I am thankful for all the people in my life. I'm thankful for all the love they give me, and I'm thankful for all the people who take time to go to my Mondo Nostalgia or press play on my, pirate radio show. I am thankful for all that because I never thought I'd have a life where that kind of stuff would be part of it. Like, I thought I'd just have this ordinary life, and it's become an extraordinary life. Extraordinary. Some people might not think it's so special, but to me, it's more than I could have ever imagined. And look at me, trying to hold back the tears already. Come on. Let's get through this without any tears. Better start with a real goofy one. I just got out of the bath. I feel amazing. I smell amazing. As I said, I've been fighting a cold, and I'm, knock on wood, I think I'm almost done it. And so I just had a nice hot bath. Haven't had one in a day or two. I had just had some quick showers, but I threw in a balm. I threw in some Epsom salts, and I want to say that I'm thankful for the things that I pamper myself with. Epsom salts, I have probably talked about in the past, but if you have never discovered the healing power of Epsom salts, by all means, give it a try. As I get older and wake up with strange aches and pains all over my body, it's amazing how much Epsom salts can just make those melt away, or at least make me feel good for a little while and get me moving again. I swear there's some days I come home from work where I can barely move. I can barely get off the couch. Then I jump into a nice Epsom salts bath, and I am just moving again. And I look like a normal human being again. So I am thankful for all those pampering things, whether it's the balms that I put in the bath, or my Epsom salts, or even my nail polish that, makes me feel sparkly on days when I don't necessarily feel sparkly. You know, I'm thankful for having a job and having money to be able to buy food. And that's what Thanksgiving is about. But I am also thankful to those people who dedicate their lives to have small businesses, that basically, they sacrifice so much. They sacrifice time with friends. They sacrifice time with family in order to give me nice little places to go to find nice little trendy things. I've had a couple of people who own their own shops here, and I'd like to continue promoting stuff like that when I find them. But I'm thankful that there are people, because I always think, hey, wouldn't it be great to own a new business? And I can literally talk myself out of it in like less than 5 minutes, just because of all the sacrifices, how hard it would be financially, the stress that I would feel. And the fact that I've got so many friends that have taken the time, whether it's, teaching voice lessons, or whether they own a candle shop or a record store, or whether they sell biscotti. Yes, these are all specific people in my life that I've either talked about or would like to talk to in the future and promote, because I think it's great. Even if I don't know these people, I'm happy that there are stores like this. I'm a big shopper. I like to go these places, but sometimes I like to go to the little shops and discover new things. And I know that you work hard to put it out there, and sometimes, it doesn't work. And the fact that you do that, I'm thankful for all of you out there who do that. I'm also thankful for people who inspire me. Not just inspire me creative, like if I go see a band and I think, wow, I want to get into music again, or I want to do music, I want to, or if I go to like an improv show or a play and I think, wow, I should start thinking about doing plays and stuff. Even if I don't wind up doing this stuff, it still inspires me to be creative. When I was going through the hard time, my creative side had to come out. That's why I decided I had to podcast. Mondo Nostalgia doesn't seem like a creative outlet, but every morning I'm up looking for new things to put on to make people smile. And that inspires me. But not only the people that do that, just the people who constantly just get out there and smile, or are always trying to be positive. You can be weak for me, but I love the fact that you try to constantly get by and make people realize that there are some nice people there. Because sometimes, I'm sad to say, sometimes you can go on the bus or go anywhere and you just see so many miserable looking people. And that doesn't mean that they're miserable. It just means that, they might just be having a hard day, or they're just not smiling. But I like the quirky little people that always seem to have a smile on their face, and even strangers that smile at me. You inspire me. I remember someone once said to me, always smile at a child, because it gets them at an early age to realize Like if a child smiles at you and you don't smile back, it gets them at an early age realizing that the world is shit. And they're going to learn that old enough now when they get older. So smile at them so at least they see that there is a thing. And I think there's some beauty in that statement. So, I'm thankful for the people who inspire me, whether it's creativity or just that, make me smile every day, even, on days where I have a hard time. I try to hold up my head as much as I can, but let's be honest, we all have days like that. I'm thankful for music, and I am very thankful for music because music transcends almost every emotion I have. When I'm having a really bad day, I can put on a couple of really emotional songs and just cry my eyes out, and then I feel a little better. When I'm in a happy mood, sometimes I'm listening to my Walkman and a song comes on and I just start bouncing practically, and music affects me in such a good way. I think music affects a lot of people, and I love hearing people say that. It shocks me when I actually hear people that say, "Oh, I don't like music. I don't like this or that." And that bothers me because it really, it's sad because music to me is so, I can't even imagine it. Music is so all around me. I've told stories about me carrying little speakers around so I can whip out a music party whenever I want to. I usually always have my Walkman on me just in case. And so I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for lava lamps, but I call them lava lumps. The reason why is I think once in a podcast I mentioned that when I go to people's houses, I always like to notice weird things that stick out. And I have seen lava lamps before, but I remember one of the things when I came over to Mike's place, he didn't have a lot of little personal things. He had a few, but something that stuck out to me was that he had a lava lamp. Now, when I met Mike, he was so quiet and reserved that it really seemed out of character. So even though I saw like the little precious little things that he had from his youth, the lava lamp kind of stuck out to me because I never had a lava lamp and he had one. And actually when his broke, I replaced it because I knew how much he loved it. And I remember those first couple times that I'd come over and he would set the mood by putting the lava lamp on. And I loved it. And then the lava lamp became a part of our life all the time. In fact, we plug it in, when fall comes around, we've already brought it out and already played it, turned it on a couple times. In fact, one time my nephew Jonathan saw it and said, "I really like those. I really enjoy them." And so I made sure he got one for Christmas. And so now I'd like to think when he puts his lava lamp on that he thinks of me in a little way. But anyhow, I like it because it just reminds me of so much. And it was never part of my life until Mike came into it. So, yeah, I'm thankful for that. I'm also thankful for stuff that, if you've ever been over to my place, and by all means, you're welcome to come over anytime. Just, give us a little bit of time so we make sure the place looks okay. But I'm thankful for all the little things that we put around the house to add decoration. And I'm not talking just our little toys and stuff like that we put out. But if you know Mike and I, we like to decorate for Halloween. We like to decorate for Christmas. We like to decorate, hey, for Thanksgiving. I just told Mike, make sure we have the turkeys out because we have a couple of stuffed turkeys that we put out. And we put candles out. And I've even returned to burning incense again. This is something I used to do when I was a kid and I absolutely loved it. And I stopped doing it for a while. And I don't do it all the time. I do it mostly when it's just Mike and I. Because I don't put it out for a lot of people because I know some people don't like the smoke and stuff like that. But I find some really nice flavors, and I recently found a really great incense that I've absolutely just been loving because they're not very strong, but they're got really nice flavors, smells. And so I've been burning them. So anything that sets an ambiance I am thankful for. Because after a hard day or when we're going to have friends over, it's nice to light a candle, throw out some decorations, you know, it's just for me, it's absolutely magical. I'm thankful for holidays. I'm thankful when we have to change things up a bit. You know, Thanksgiving is one. Sure, I'm thankful for Thanksgiving. But I'm thankful for stuff like Halloween and Christmas and even like summer. I know that's not a holiday, but what I like about it is it makes us change our atmosphere around. We like to decorate a little bit. So we like to put our Halloween stuff out, and for a little bit our house gets to change. Christmas, our house gets to change. Even musically, I add music, like Christmas music, Halloween music. Remembrance Day, I even add a whole bunch of music a week or two beforehand. And I like it because it takes what we normally have for granted and we shake it up a bit by adding, holiday songs and stuff. And that's what I meant with the summer. In the summer, I'll play a lot more songs, beachy type songs that I might not play the rest of the year. Don't get me wrong, I do get a kick out of playing some Beach Boys, nothing like some good vibrations in the middle of a snowstorm. But you might not hear something like, Beach Blanket Bingo or something playing. So I'm thankful for those little times that we get to be a little different. It's just, to me, it's just, changes things up a bit. I'm thankful that I'm becoming retro. I've become acceptance of the fact that I have become retro. And that a lot of the things from my youth are slowly fading into the sunset. I remember when I was a little younger, I realized that, for my mom and dad, there were stations that used to play big band and stuff like that. And there was less and less of that as they got older. Even now, 50s and 60s is pretty much disappearing. Occasionally you find a station, but sometimes you have to go to a specialty channel for it. And I am slowly getting to the point, not saying the 80s and 70s is disappearing, but even in a lot of the oldie stations, a lot of the stations only play 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And the 70s are slowly starting to die down. There was a time you could make a Brady Bunch reference and everybody would know what it is. Now there's a lot of people that don't know what that is. But I hated that fact for the longest time, but I've gotten to the point where I'm accepting the fact that I'm retro. And I enjoy nights. Just recently, after we did the Hamilton Comic Con, we were so zonked out, we just grabbed a couple drinks, sat down, and I said, what do you want to do? I don't want to be a host. I don't want to do anything. And we just decided to put on retro things. We threw some old Charlie's Angels in, some wacky races. We watched some, just old classic stuff, and it was fun. It was great. And the fact that there's a new generation that a lot, will never know any of this stuff, or, if they hang around with me, I'll make sure they know them. I'm always so endeared by younger people who know stuff that, oh, your parents taught you well. Good. I like that. So I'm thankful for the fact that I've become retro and I'm starting to accept it. I'm thankful for my health. Now, this is part of Thanksgiving, as they do. I'm not the healthiest of people, I won't lie. When I get ready for a vacation, I look at the amount of medicine I take. Now, it's not as much as my parents used to take. But for somebody who's 48 years old, I think that's a lot of fucking medicine. And I have to put it in, so I make sure I take it and stuff. And I realize that there could come a time, knock on wood, I have been knocking on wood a lot lately, but there could come a time where I might not be as healthy as I am. I may be overweight right now, and but I can still walk, I can still move, I can still dance, I can still run. And I see people that can't. And they probably were like me at one time and just took it for granted. But I don't. I actually realize that you never know what's going to happen. One day you could just be living your life, and then the next day you could have a stroke that puts you totally out. You could have a heart attack that changes your life forever. So I'm thankful I still have my health. I'm thankful for so many things in my life. I always talk about being taken for granted, and I probably take things for granted all the time too. I'm thankful that I'm the kind of person that can stop and appreciate things. I can't tell you if my parents taught me this. It just sounds like something you pick up. But I always try to teach it now to either my nephews or nieces or to young people. To cherish moments. To remember moments, not just the actual event. Cherish things, sounds, smells. Cherish things all around you. Because one day you're going to look back at them and you're going to think, wow, I wish I took a little more time to cherish that stuff. And there are times that I wish I paid more attention to. But as I said, I'm thankful that I do remember a lot of it. And it's sad when you meet up with someone who doesn't remember much of something that you brought up that was so meaningful to you. And then when you mention it to them, remember when we did this? And then they don't. And it's kind of sad because it's like, well, didn't it mean much to them? But it just could be because they didn't really take the time and cherish it. And that's really sad. And I think as life goes on, that's the way it is. That's the way it goes, that we just kind of forget that stuff. I think there's probably a million other things I'm thankful for, but those are just a few. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still thankful for all the people in my life. In fact, I'd be so lost without them. And I try to remind them regularly, even if they don't remind it to me. I sometimes do the old, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to phone them. I'm not going to email them. I'm not going to, and see how long it takes. And usually I wind up breaking down and sending them a phone call or an email and then, feel good about doing it. But every once in a while, somebody surprises me and sends me a little note. Even if it's just a little heart thinking of you and stuff like that, it just makes me smile. As much as I bitch about life and the way things are going, there is so much good. And I'm thankful that I'm at a time in my life right now that I see all that. The worst parts are when I'm going through dark times and I can see all that. Because even when I'm at my darkest, I never take anything for granted. But that's what makes it worse. Because now I see all this good stuff, but I think there's a song by James Morrison, which I absolutely love, that's called, I Know It's a Wonderful World, but I Don't See It Right Now. And I love that line. It's a great line, and I think I'm going to end on that line. Even though I'm not in a negative mood or a sad mood or a blue mood, it's Thanksgiving. Go have yourself a great meal. Go spend it with friends, family. For people you can't be close to, send them a little note. Do that for me, and you'll thank me for it. Thank you for joining me. I will be back next week, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon.